This is a concept vehicle from Mercedes. It is the EQV. That is their first fully electric passenger transport vehicle. Here at Autogefuel, I like to specialize in finding people to speak to from manufacturers who are clearly better looking and, most importantly, taller than me. So, if you would introduce yourself for our viewers.
I'm certainly taller than you, but that's it so far. My name is Benjamin, and I'm responsible for the electrification of our vans. So, for instance, for this concept EQV here.
Well, that represents quite an exciting idea for me, because I think we all acknowledge now, finally, that we have to be looking more and more towards electric platforms. And it's exciting for me to see Mercedes-Benz pushing that concept forwards. The People Mover is an obvious next step to take, but I'm intrigued to find out a little bit more. Can you please explain to me, what is the thinking behind this vehicle?
So our conventional V-Class is already very successful as of today. And so we thought it's the logical next step to also bring this to our EQ family. So as you can see, it is a true EQ and EQV on the outside, the inside, and also under the hood.
Okay, well, that all sounds good, but what's the effective range, realistically?
Well, we are certifying this concept car with 400 kilometers. And then, as you know, it really depends on, are you driving it in winter, in summer, up the hill, down the hill, 160 kph, 60 kph. So it really depends on what you're doing. But I think if you can get more than 250 kilometers of real range, I think then we're talking about an actual use case where most customers would be satisfied. And I think that's achievable. The battery is 100 kilowatt hours. And if you look at other cars also, you know that 100 kilowatt hours is a decent size for a battery electric vehicle.
Thank you. Okay, so you're going to talk me through what I'm looking at here. And from the get-go, this dashboard looks extremely familiar and comfortable to me.
Yes, which is also a good thing, right? Because we want the customer to feel comfortable and familiar in the car. Maybe let's start with some of the design elements. So you see here the trim and color is very comparable to what we show in the EQC, in the series production version. So
can you, sorry, just to ask, can you tell me what this material is?
We call it cloud material. So it is a blue material that comes together with this rose gold stitching, which we associate with electromobility because it's copper colored. And you can also see those design elements also here for the air valves, and also in the middle, the dashboard, all the buttons have the rose gold. Those are some of the design elements. But also when it comes to the user interaction, we are using the MBUX system, so the Hey Mercedes, you can talk to the car responds, and you can turn on the seat heating or whatever. But it's also embedded in the EQ ecosystem. So you can use all the connectivity features, you can pay your electrical charge over the system, or you can start the preconditioning of the vehicle while you're at home, you know, in your chair, starting the app. All these things we are also bringing to life in this car.
Has there been any additional attempt been made to bring sustainability to the design and the finish of this platform in particular?
Well, of course, when it comes to energy consumption, because the more energy or the less energy you consume, the more ecological friendly you are. So, for instance, we're using in order to heat the vehicle, we're using a heat pump, which some of you may have heard from housing, you know, from your own house. It's a very energy efficient way to heat up the car, but also to heat up the house. And it's one of the things that we do in order to reduce the energy consumption, especially in the wintertime, and therefore also being more ecological friendly.
Now, I'm quite keen to get in the back.
Yes.
And for you to show me around in there. Now, this doesn't look radically different from what's gone before. Are there any special features back here? Actually, you know what? Come and sit back here with me.
Sure.
Let's sit in the car. Are there any special features that really lets me know that this is different, that this is new?
No, and that was exactly the goal. We didn't change anything. So the foot clearance, the leg room, the clearance up here, everything is the same. So you can take the seats out, you can turn them around, you can put 8 seats in there, or 6 or 7, whatever, or you can take them all out and just put a bunch of bicycles in here or luggage or whatever. So it remains fully flexible and keeps all the functionality that the V-Class as a conventional vehicle also has. And maybe a private customer wouldn't do the math the way you just did it, but I think a commercial customer would. So maybe a taxi driver or somebody who owns a smaller fleet of maybe 5 or 6 vehicles that pick up people from the airport and drive them to an exposition or something like that. I think a person like that can calculate the annual mileage and the amount of tax money saved and the energy costs saved and stuff like that. And maybe over a period of 3 years, it will even out. And maybe the private customer will look at other benefits and say, still, even though it's a little bit more expensive, I want to be ecologically friendly, I want to have a quiet drive, I want to have a smooth ride. And they might also choose to go fully electric.
Think about how great you would feel going to pick up kids from a soccer match in the middle of town in this. 0 pollution, 0 effort, 0 energy used. Perfect. It can be supplied by wind or solar power when you have that at home or at work charging. It doesn't have to have any negative environmental consequence. And not only that, but the sound that it's going to make is going to be so much less. If I sound a little bit too much like an advert, I apologize for that. But I'm a huge fan of an electric future for mass mobility. Now, when it comes to personal mobility, that's a little bit different, but that's another story. If you have any comments or questions, please pop them below. Please subscribe, and we hope we'll see you all again very soon.